Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor, City Attorney, City Treasurer, and audience. This is the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting, and today's date is Monday, November 6, 2017. At this time, we'll have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo.
Here.
Councilman Barton.
Here.
Councilwoman Choate.
Here.
Councilman Kraut.
Here.
Councilwoman Mikowski. Councilwoman Roscoe.
Here.
And Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Okay.
Tonight's council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda. Number 2, minutes. Number 3, petitioner. Number 4, chairperson's report. Number 5, mayor's report. 6A, clerk's report. 6B, treasurer's report. 7, public comment. 8, unfinished business. 9, new business. 10, communication. And number 11, adjournment. And a motion be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved. Support.
Okay, it's been moved by Mikowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe. Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
2A for approval are the minutes from the regular council meeting held on October 23rd, 2017.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Kraut, supported by Ms. Abdo, and this is for approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held October 23rd, 2017. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
6B for approval are the minutes from the special meetings held on October 23rd, 2017 at 6:45, open session, Aerotropolis proposal to revise the interlocal agreement, and at 7:00 p.m. there was a closed session to discuss an attorney opinion.
So moved. For the special meeting of October 23rd.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo, and this is for the approval of the minutes from the special meeting held October 23rd. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
There are no petitioners on the agenda. Number 4, the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First of all, I'm going to have the chair to recognize Councilman Kraut.
Well, thank you, John. You know, every Thanksgiving, Helping Hands donate turkeys to the needy families around us. Right now, they have 0 turkeys to donate right now. Last year, they had 50 turkeys to donate, and they passed them out. They're asking us for help, make sure the needy family around us have turkeys for dinner, for Thanksgiving dinner. And they're located at Erin River Drive, next to the bowling alley. The hours are from 10 to 3. The days they're open is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If you can donate a turkey, it'd be appreciated. And I'm asking the elected official to donate a turkey too. Thank you.
Thank you. Under my report, I have some results that's in for the Scarecrow contest. First place went to the fire department. Is anyone here from the fire department? Okay. Second place awarded to Boy Scouts Troop number 872. Just give 'em a hand. One from Boy Scouts. If not, I would like Councilwoman Roscoe to receive this for second place vote.
Thank you very much. I'll make sure our troop gets it. And we have a room actually, we hang all our certificates in and everything, so that'll go in there. Thank you.
Thank you. And third place. Our third place winners are awarded to the public library. All right? Want to hear from the library? All right. Come on up to the podium.
Thank you so much. I want to introduce Barb Stanich. I know she's embarrassed, but Barb did most of the work on the scarecrows, and she's from the Friends of the Library, so I want to just applaud her creativity, and she did a great job. So thank you.
With that, let's go conclude the chairperson's report tonight.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept your report.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Makowski, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Kraut,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and thank you very much.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, City Council, Treasurer, Clerk, Deputy Clerk, and audience. Tonight I brought this quote because this Saturday is Veterans Day. And Mr. Chairman, it goes as this: "We are the home of the free because of the brave." And I just want to take this opportunity to thank all those who have served that are still with us, those who gave the ultimate sacrifice so that we have this great country that we have. You know, it's the best system in the world, people, the best. May have flaws, it's the best system in the world. So thank you to all those. So it's an example tomorrow, being able to go to the polls, and we have that freedom, which a lot of countries wish they did. So thank you for that, and thank you for your service, all those who, men and women who served in all different branches. We have a short video clip with a couple things, Roger, if you could run that.
Hi everyone, and here's what's coming up around Romulus. Tomorrow is election day. The polls will be open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. Saturday, November the 18th is Youth Bowling Fun Day at Romulus Lanes. Cost is $3 for 2 games, which includes shoes, hot dog, and a drink. Save the date for the first annual Downtown Turkey Trot on November the 22nd. Cost is $20 and will benefit the Romulus Goodfellows. Wreaths Across America Day will return this year on December the 16th. Wreaths are now available for $15 at wreathsacrossamerica.org. Be sure to search for Romulus VFW. Stay tuned for more details on this and any of our other events by visiting our website, romulusgov.com, or like the City of Romulus page on Facebook. Thanks everyone, and have a great week. Don't forget to vote.
Thank you, Dennis. Thanks, Roger. I do also, Mr. Chairman, have a request for memorial resolution for the family of William or Billy Campbell. If I could, please.
I'll make that motion. Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by, who's that supported by? Ms. Roscoe. For memorial resolution. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Now for my normal report. First item up, there's 2 motions required, but item A is a request for some reappointments. First one is to concur with the administration, reappoint Maria Lambert, Debbie Hoffman, Julie Waitoko, Cynthia Kellerman, Ellen Craig Bragg, Lynn Conway, and Mary Druryard to the Romulus Arts Council, all terms to expire November 11th of 2019.
So moved, Mr.
Support.
Chairman.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut. This is for the appointment of the Romulus Art Board reappointments and appointments. Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe,
Yes.
Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved.
Thank you, council. The second part of that is an appointment, not a reappointment, but that would be to concur with the administration and appoint resident Lauren Wilhide to the Romulus Arts Council. That term also to expire November 11th, 2019.
So moved to appoint resident Lauren Wilhide to the Romulus Arts Council with a term to expire on November 11th, 2019.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Choate, to concur with the administration and to appoint resident Laura Wilhide to the Romulus Arts Council with a term to expire on November 11th, 2019. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The next item is a recommendation that came through Tim Keys, Economic Development Director, and our legal counsel, and it's to concur with the administration, authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached tax increment revenue collection and retention agreement between the city of Romulus and the local development finance authority of the Detroit Regional Aerotropolis Development Corporation.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe. This is for the tax increment revenue collection and retention agreement. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The next item is also a recommendation, came through Tim Keys, Economic Development and Legal Counsel, and that's a request to concur with the administration, authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached Aerotropolis Development Area and Tax Increment Revenue Collection and Retention Agreement.
So move, Mr. Chairman, for the development area tax increment revenue collection and retention agreement.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo. This is for Metropolis Development Area Tax Increment Revenue Collections and Retention Agreement. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item is a recommendation from Tim Keys, Economic Development, and this is to concur with the administration and authorize the attached proposal from W.H. Cannon for holiday lighting along Merriman Road corridor. That's from I-94 to Leonardo's, with a price not to exceed $6,655. Those funds have been verified and available are the Merriman Road Special Assessment District account.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for seasonal Merriman Road. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item is a recommendation came from Rhea Lambert, DDA Director and CDBG Coordinator and Legal Counsel, and it's a request to concur with the administration, approve the proposed subrecipient agreement between the City of Romulus, Wayne County for the expenditure of the Community Development Block Grant Funds. Term is July 1st, 2017 through June 30th of 2022, and this is pending a revised agreement that reflects the change in workman's comp.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Choate.
I make the motion that we concur with the administration and approve the proposed subrecipient agreement between the City of Romulus and Wayne County for the expenditure of the Community Development Block Grant Funds.
Support.
Term would be July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2022.
It's been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut. This is for the subrecipient agreement for the Wayne County CDBG program, which is July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2022. Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item also is a request that came through recommendation of Maria Lambert, CDBG coordinator, and our city engineer. And this is to concur with the administration, authorize the attached change order for additional services proposed by OHM associated with the CDBG Fire Station Rehab Project, amount not to exceed $38,512.50. These funds have been verified and will be available contingent upon the budget amendment under 5I.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Choate. This is for the change order, a CDBG Fire Station Rehab Project. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The next item is a budget amendment. This is a request to concur with the administration and increase the building department overtime amount for the increased workload due to several new large developments. The expenses are offset with revenue from those permits.
So move, Mr. Chairman, for budget amendment 17/18-13 from the general fund.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Abdo. This is for the budget amendment 17/18-13, general fund. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item is also a budget amendment, and this is to concur with the administration and increase the project budget to cover additional costs for the Vining Road, E-Course Road improvements, reimbursement funds received and deposited.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe. This is for the budget amendment 17/18-14, Vining Road Extension, E-Course Road Construction. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The next item is I. That's the one we spoke of earlier, and it's also a budget amendment, request to concur with the administration and adjust budget expenditure amounts based on Wayne County sub-recipient agreement received October 27th of this year.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms.
I'd like
Choate?
to make the motion that we concur with the administration and adjust the budgeted expenditure amount based on the Wayne County subrecipient agreement that was received on October 27th, 2017.
Support.
It's motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Makowski. This is for budget amendment 17/18-15, CDBG. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item is also a budget amendment, and this is to concur with the administration and recognize additional program income revenue from repayment of liens and additional program income expenses.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate?
I would like to make a motion that we concur with the administration and introduce a budget amendment to recognize additional program income revenue from the repayment of liens and additional program income expenses.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Wadsworth. This is for the budget amendment 17/18-16, CDBG. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The next item is a recommendation that came both through the Employee Policy Revision Committee, Kevin Lozen from HR, and Stephen Hitchcock, our city attorney. And we had a past meeting on this, but this is a request to concur with the administration and the Employee Committee and Legal Counsel and adopt the updates to the Employee Policy and Procedure Manuals, which include policies 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 13, 15, 17, 18, 21, 22, 24, and replacement policies for 27 and 32, and a new policy 36.
I'll make that motion as described.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Choate. And this is for the Employee Policy and Procedure Manual revisions. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
So, next one is officer compensation appointment. What you have before you, this is filling a open term, so is a request to concur with administration and approve the appointment of Catherine Morris to the Romulus Officer Compensation Commission. This term will expire in June of 2019, and again, that's just filling a term.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion.
It's a motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe. This is for the officer composition appointment. With the discussion,
I spoke with you about this, and either I'm confused or I guess I wanted clarification. When I called, I was concerned because 2 months ago, I asked that all appointments to committees, that we start posting these on the website so people can write letters of interest. And when I called about this, you told me, well, we're in a bind, we have to have a meeting before the end of the year. And I was under the impression this was going to be a 1-month appointment and that you were going to repost it after. She wasn't going to fill this for 2 more years.
Sorry for that confusion. This was filling her term for the past committee member that passed. My understanding is that they need to meet in December, so that's why we're
Told me.
filling that spot. But this was just filling the term for the person that passed. So that's the intention with this.
The impression you gave me is that because they had to meet in December, it was only going to be filling it for that, and that you were going to have something reworked by then so that people can apply to be a member of this commission, and we'd be more transparent in what we're doing.
I'm open to people that want to be involved in any committees, but my understanding is, Steve, this is for Compensation Commission, which by charter is supposed to meet. So my intention, if I misled you, I apologize, was to fill the term of that person that could no longer fill it.
Well, can we fill that just till the end of the year and then have this posted for transparency's sake so that people can, people can apply and, we open it up. That's what we talked about doing 2 months ago when I brought this up at a meeting. 2 months ago, I said, from now on, can we have commissions, when positions on commissions are available, can we have it on the website so people out there know?
Yeah, and my understanding was for the advisory council, that council makes appointments. That's fine. We can post those and let people know. This was not a planned vacancy. So
I realize
I
this, but-
apologize if you misunderstood that, but my intention was to fill the term, to complete the term of that prior person. So
I realize that, but I mean, we're actually filling this out for almost another 2 years, and where we could be opening this up to people who would be interested in it.
And these are longer terms than some boards and commissions by design, is my understanding. They stagger them over, multiple elected offices, so.
I can only support it if we were going to finish it till the end of the year.
If I could,
yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
once they meet next month, Mayor, they wouldn't meet again until 21.
Yeah, it's the odd years, correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. They could, but
They
Meet
could-
in
they
the
don't
next,
have to.
the next odd year. So 19.
19,
They can meet anytime they want,
They
though.
can meet every 2
But they
years.
don't.
right.
And this is the
And I'm not
mayor's
anticipating.
appointment.
Yes, it's my appointment. It was nice that we had Ms. Morris willing to fill this spot, and I'm not anticipating any action, but we do need to fill this position, and we did have a vacancy, so apologize if there's any misunderstanding, but that was my intent, to fill that spot.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Yes.
This is a charter mandates that we have a compensation board which meets every odd year. So, I'm sure by 2019, there may be another vacancy that comes up, and at that time, then we can post the vacancy at that time. But it does need to be filled because they have to meet so that they can have their quorum for December.
I realize that, but it could be a temporary appointment to the end of the year. I mean, I asked 2 months ago that this be posted, that from now on, commissions be posted.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that there there are specific terms for the position, and if we're filling the position, we're filling it for the rest of the term, and that was, as Mayor indicated, that's part of the reason for having the long terms, that you can't, because you don't like the vote of somebody in one odd year, you can automatically get rid of them.
I guess it's just principle that I asked that this be, that we open this up and have this stuff posted and be transparent 2 months ago, and we're still operating under old business.
My understanding was that was for, council appointments, and we have no problem with that, so. And that's part of the reason for the advisory board as well, so people can send in letters of request and then come to council, but this wasn't one that goes through that process.
No, my request was to have all appointments be posted so that if people are interested in them, they can apply for them. People in the community don't know these things are available, and we're slotting people into commissions, and I just wanted to do that in the spirit of transparency, and that's what I was asking, and I'm asking for again.
Any other comments? Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
No.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The last item, M, was just really for information only, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
6A is the clerk's report. Mr. Chair and Council, we do have a request to speak on item, under the clerk's report, item 6A6. So if we can call that person up at this time before we start taking action on these, on the items under the clerk's report. I have Byron Butler, and if you can come to the microphone, please. And again, Mr. Butler would like to address council concerning line item 6A6.
Good evening, Mr. Butler.
Been a resident of Romulus my whole life. I have an issue with the ordinance that you guys are going to be voting on today, 6A6. I'd like to ask that something be added to the amendment, and that is this amendment would be for new residents, when residents are vacant. I believe that this is an invasion of privacy. It's different when a new home is built and it's up for inspection, or a tenant moves out of a home and it's vacant. But when you have tenants in a house and they've been living there, and for somebody just to come in there and walk through their house, I believe it's an invasion of privacy. To me, it is. To gain access to someone's home, you have to have a warrant, or you have to, the tenant or the homeowner has to invite you into their home. And I just feel like, to me, I'd like you guys to consider to change the amendment to if a person moves out of the home and the home is vacant. Also, is this ordinance, does it cover apartments? Does it cover the inspection of hotels? And I'd like to get an answer for that too. So I'll keep it short and sweet, but that's what I'm asking.
Doesn't include apartments or
Queen's Bob.
hotels.
Did Bob McCray come up and speak?
Can I ask why that is?
Bob,
Yeah, Bob.
Mr. McCray. Okay.
Hotels are already regulated and inspected under different ordinances and state law, so that's why they're not included in this provision.
Okay, what about apartments?
Apartments will be included.
Okay. But can I get somebody's opinion on this being an invasion of privacy? I mean, to me, it definitely is. You know, like I said earlier, if the home is vacant, that's one thing. But, you know, if people are living in a home and they've been living in that rental home for 3 years or whatever the case might be, it's an invasion of their privacy. Now, if they have issues with the landlord, then these issues can be taken up in court. That's what the court is for. If there's an issue with the tenant not paying the landlord, or the landlord, or the tenant you know what I mean, the tenant not paying the landlord, or the landlord having issues with the tenant, then that's what small claim court is for, and these type of things. But to me, I can't express it enough. I mean, it definitely is an invasion of privacy for the tenants.
Well, first of all, they're not going to just show up and walk through it without notifying anybody. So it's not going to be done in that fashion. So there's going to be notification and try to do it at a time that is also convenient for the tenant and or the landlord, so that everybody knows ahead of time and they're present when they go through the house. And I don't believe it's an invasion of privacy under the law. You can make inspections periodically, and as you noted on this one, if you have a clean inspection, you don't get another inspection for a 5-year period. So there's a lengthy period of time in between any of those possible inspections.
Okay, let's just say, for instance, this is going to be extreme, so bear with me here. It's going to be funny a little bit, but let's just say, for instance, you have a tenant and they are artists, okay, and they have wallpaper on the wall or pictures all over the place. They're to themselves. They don't have much company. They don't have company at all. And they have pictures around the place of them nude. They're artists. They have that. So now people are going to come into their home. It's an invasion of privacy. That's what it is. I mean, to me, that's what it is, period. Now, like I said, if the home is vacant, if somebody moves out of the home, if it's new construction, then sure enough, it needs to be inspected. It needs to be inspected and you know, it needs to be brought up to code if something is not in code or whatever the case might be. But to me, it's an invasion of privacy, period. That's what it is.
The only thing I can say, I guess, to that is that they could take the pictures down if they want, because they will be notified before the inspection occurs. If they want to remove them, they can do that. But I think the building department also knows from experience that tenants can be hard on property, and so there is a reason to inspect to make sure that nothing has been occurring that would endanger health, safety, and welfare of the people living there and or their neighbors. You can have situations where just even though they're just a tenant, they decided on their own to change wiring for whatever reason, for example, and created a health hazard. So the purpose of this is to make sure that they're safe properties for both the tenant and for all the neighbors. Make sure that you have to periodically do an inspection.
Okay, so you say it's 5 years if they pass the first time. If they don't, it's every 2 years. And at what cost is this going to be?
Well, it would only be every 2 years until you passed one. Then you would click over to the 5 years.
And can you explain to the public what cost that comes at? Inspections.
Yeah, what's the amount right now? Once every 5 years, you have to pay the $150 for the registration, and then it's $200 for an inspection.
So it's $350. So if somebody owns an apartment structure, say like Wellesley or those townhouses or whatever apartment place, it's $350 per unit. I'm asking.
Yes.
That's a lot. Okay. All right. Thank you.
That was the only written request to speak.
Okay.
Under the clerk's report, line item 6A1, for second reading and final adoption is Budget Amendment 1718-11, Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, introduced at the October 23rd, 2017 council meeting.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for the second reading, final adoption, budget amendment for the Brownfield Development Authority.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Makowski, for second reading, final adoption of Budget Amendment 17/18-11, Brownsfield Redevelopment Authority. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A2 for second reading and final adoption is Budget Amendment 1718-12, Vining Road Extension, E-Course Road Construction, introduced at the council meeting of October 23rd, 2017.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Choate.
I'd like to make a motion that we grant second reading and final adoption to Budget Amendment 17/18-12, the Vining Road Extension, the E-Course Road Construction Project.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut, for second reading, final adoption of Budget Amendment 17/18-12, and this is Vining Road Extension, E-Course Road Construction. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A3 for second reading and final adoption, the proposed City of Romulus Distributed Antenna Systems Ordinance. This was introduced at the council meeting of October 23rd, 2017.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for second reading and final adoption of proposed City of Romulus Distributed Antenna Systems Ordinance. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A4 for second reading and final adoption is proposed City of Romulus Ordinance, Chapter 36, Article 5, Offenses Against Peace, to add requirements of property owners to prohibit disorderly persons from use or possession of property.
So
This-
moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for second reading, final adoption of proposed City of Romulus Ordinance, Chapter 36, Articles 5, Offensive Against Peace, to add requirements of property owners to prohibit disorderly persons from use or possession of property. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A5 for second reading and final adoption is proposed City of Romulus Ordinance, Chapter 58, Article 2, a new section to prevent distracted driving in the City of Romulus, introduced at the council meeting of October 23rd, 2017.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Support.
Discussion.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Choate. This for second reading and final adoption of proposed City of Romulus Ordinance, Chapter 58, Articles 2, a new section of prevent distraction driving in the City of Romulus. Discussion.
Yes, thank you. I would like our attorney to speak to this. There was a section in here that I had calls on, it led me to be a little bit concerned, that said the secondary violation of distracted driving includes, but is not limited to, personal hygiene, eating or drinking, reading, using a cellular phone. And what I wanted to know, what people were concerned about, does that mean if I'm driving lawfully and drinking water, could I get ticketed by an overzealous policeman? Is that what this is saying?
No, you have to operate a motor vehicle and commit a moving violation while distracted. So
Does that make sense?
if they observe a moving violation, for example, didn't stop at a stop sign, and they also noted that you were eating a sandwich at the time you did that, you could potentially get not only a ticket for running the stop sign, but also a ticket for driving while distracted.
I wanted that clarification, that's
But if you're doing the items that you just identified without committing a moving violation, then you receive no tickets.
Okay.
good.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Last item in the clerk's report is 6A6 for second reading and final adoption is proposed City of Romulus ordinance to amend Article 7 to add sections 8-238 to 8-249 for registration of rental properties in the City of Romulus, introduced at the council meeting of October 23rd, 2017.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Choate. And this is for the second reading and final adoption of proposed City of Romulus ordinance to amend Article 7 to add Section 8-238 to 8-249 for registration of rental properties in the City of Romulus. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
That's the last action item under my report, but before I close out, I have a few announcements. It has already been stated by Dennis Davison that tomorrow is Election Day. Polls open at 7 and close at 8, and your photo IDs are required. Bring them with you to the polls. Also, just a few things with regards to the entrances to the polls. At Hell Creek and Barth, voters will be entering through the front entrance of the building. At Hell Creek and Barth, you'll enter through the front entrance of the buildings. Also, we've provided some dedicated parking at the rack for voters and also for our handicap. You'll see dedicated parking for handicap voters at all of our locations on tomorrow. And if you have any questions or anything, you're not sure of your location or if you're registered, give us a call, or you can always visit our website at www.romulusgov.com. Also, after the polls close, we will be broadcasting the results and right here in council chambers. Also, but if you'd like to view them at home, there's a website that you can log on to, and that's https :// at electionsreporting.com/map. This information is on the city's Facebook page as well as our city's website. And one last thing, if you have an absentee ballot that's still sitting on your table, please return them. You have until 8 o'clock tomorrow to return your absentee ballots. We have drop boxes outside for your convenience, and in order for them to be counted, we have to have them by 8 o'clock. And with that, that concludes the clerk's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Number, 6B is the treasurer's report.
Thank you. Good evening, council, mayor, clerk, deputy clerk, and audience. I just have one item on the agenda, and that's just a friendly reminder that the winter tax bills come out December 1st and will be due on February 14th, 2018. If you'd like to learn more about your tax bill, please visit the website, or you can always call the treasurer's office at 734-942-7580. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer.
7 is public comment. Individuals that would like to address the city council under the public comment portion of the agenda must raise your hand, and when recognized by the chair, the person shall approach the microphone and state their name and address. Remarks shall be limited to 3 minutes, subject to being extended an additional 3 minutes by the consent of the chair. There shall be no campaigning, no personal attacks. Remarks shall not contain any profanity, racial, ethnic, religious, sexual, or national origin slurs or overtones. Anyone making such remarks shall lose his or her right to address the city council, board, or commission. A response, if appropriate, will be provided under unfinished business if information is available at this time. Some items may require further investigation, in which case you will receive a response at a later date. Mr. Chair and Council, we do have one written request, and that's coming from Ursula Wester.
Okay.
Good evening
Good evening.
to our mayor, the city council, appointed people. I would like to, as treasurer of the Romulus Flyers, I'd like to extend a warm thank you for all your help that you've given us over the past years. And to let you know, for those that may not have known, that all three teams did make the playoffs this year. So we hosted that this past Saturday. And moving on is our freshman and JV squads are going on to the championship. So I just thought it would be nice to come up and let you all know, and thank you again for all the support that we get. And the championship will be played at Grosse Ile. So if anyone wants to come out, it's supposed to start at 11 o'clock. And also your cheerleaders are going to competition on Sunday. They're going to be competing down at Lincoln High School in Ypsi. So just want to again say thank you and have a good evening.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
That was the only written request, Mr. Chair.
Okay, is there any other comments? Yes, Ms. Turner. Ms. Turner. Put the mic down a little bit, Ms. Turner. Thank you.
Earlier, you mentioned something about a turkey giveaway. I wanted to get that information for some of the families of Romulus. And also, I wanted to know, are you guys still moving forward with your food pantry? A couple of years ago or so that they were supposed to be opening up at Merriman School. It was under the ROC, R-O-C. One of the judges was involved. The Romulus Outreach Community Network or something like that. I thought it was some people on this committee that was involved with that, so I thought maybe they were still doing that. I wanted to know where were they with that process.
Or someone that
Okay.
was involved in?
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
I don't know about it.
I'll just get that information later.
Okay.
Also, I wanted to know, what is the process of getting a handicap sign in front of your house or in your area? I've been attempting to get it for almost 2 years now. They keep telling me somebody else is going to call me and I'm going to hear from them. Then I was also told that we weren't allowed to have handicap signs in Romulus, and I find that hard to believe. So I'm wondering, what is the process, again, the actual process to go through in order to get that handicap sign that I need for my son? So.
We will address
Bakers?
that on unfinished business, Ms. Turner.
Okay. Thank you, and have a
Okay, you too. Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Mr. Green?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Darius Green, 6065 Essex. I have two things on my agenda. First is I'd like to request a memorial resolution for Miss Cynthia Alexander, and I'll elaborate.
I'd like to make that motion if I may.
Okay.
Support that.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Choke for memorial resolution. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choke?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski? I'm sorry, Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Okay, the obituary of Cynthia Alexander, aka Cynthia Stevens, Doc Stevens' daughter, reads a little bit like this. Cynthia was firstborn child to the union of Horace Nathaniel Stevens and Sarah Stevens. Her arrival on August 22nd, 1945 was a joyous occasion, since she was the firstborn of Horace and Sarah, but she was also the oldest grandchild on both sides of the family. She attended Romulus Public Schools, starting with Corey, Beverly, and cumulated with her high school diploma from Romulus Senior High in 1963. She was active in a variety of school activities. She was a member of NHS, the Science Club, Latin Club, and also a cheerleader. She went on to attend Ferris State and received a Bachelor of Science in Education with a concentration in life science and a minor in mathematics. It was there where she met her husband and fell in love and had 3 children. Soon after, she began working on her master's at Western. She taught overseas in Zambia for 10 years. She was the director at Saint City down in the other part for a development center. So based on all of her life achievements and her dedication to Romulus, that's why I came up to make sure that she had her just due. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gray.
Secondly, we all know tomorrow is our vote. I'm not standing up here trying to campaign for this, that, and the other. We all know we got to do right by our children. Our school system is in need, so we as residents must come up and do what we're supposed to do to ensure the safety and the security of our community. That being said, thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Are there any other comments from the audience? Yes.
Edward Martell, Romulus, Michigan. Good morning, good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Condolences to Miss Alexander. First of all, I just want to say that we have to keep the people first. You know, we've seen this video about the election. We know about all the new developments coming to our city, and I'm happy about that. But what good are developments if we exclude the people? We have to keep our people first. We have to put them over the developments, put them over the corporations, put them over the special interest, the contributions. We have to keep our people first. Thank you. Edward Martell.
Any other comments from the audience? Any more comments? If there's no more comments from the, yes.
Hello, Tamika Voles, 9534 Chamberlain, Romulus, Michigan. I just have a question in regards to the Chapter 58, Article 2, a new section to prevent distracted driving in the city of Romulus. You said earlier today that, and when I see you, was it the attorney? You were saying that it had to do with the personal hygiene and eating and drinking if you get a violation and you're pulled over in regards to that. And you said it depends on whether they note that, you know, you have been, or that there's drinking and eating in the car. Do you mean specifically, like if they pull you over and you're actually physically drinking and eating and they can see that? Or do you mean if they pull you over in the car and you have committed a violation and predominantly they see that there's some eating in the car, or there has been some bags where you've been, or some drinking in the car? Which one is it?
Well, I think the win on that ticket.
We'll do that on the unfinished business. Unfinished business, we'll have
Be on
that addressed.
unfinished business?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Any other comments from the audience? If there are no other comments from the audience, close that part out.
Number 8 is unfinished business.
Okay, unfinished business.
Mr. Chairman, we'll get the process for the lady who was interested in the handicap sign process. And maybe, Steve, do you want to address the question on distracted driving ordinance?
Yes.
Sure. You would, the officer would have to actually witness the distracted conduct going on in order to be able to testify that the distracted conduct contributed to the moving violation. I don't think just having food laying in your car is going to be sufficient. But if you had it, you were chewing on it at the same time you went through the red light, that would be enough. Okay.
Thank you. Is there any more unfinished business? If not, number 9 is new business.
Okay, on the new business, first of all, I'd like to present Ms. Linda Chope, our councilwoman of Carr, City Council Administration.
Well, thank you very much.
And
Thank you.
I want to take this time and opportunity to recognize our Councilwoman Linda Choke to finish chairing our meeting today. And I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Choke as our chairman for this rest of it. First of all, before I do, I want Mr. Wadsworth to speak.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Barden. As everybody knows, tomorrow is the election in this town, and some of us may be back, maybe none of us will be back, but one person that will not be back will be Linda Chokes. Because she made a decision, and I give her credit for what she's doing. But Linda, I've got a resolution to give you first, but I want to talk from a personal point. Me and Linda first met in the summer of 1973. It sounds like a movie, doesn't it?
73.
In fact, Linda began working here in the summer of 1973, the same time as my youngest son, who is now 44 years old, was born. And at that time, I was a young deputy that would come here to City Hall to bring papers because back then the sheriff's department was the police department here. And during that time, I became friends with Linda. Not only I became friends with Linda, I became friends with Ken, and Linda became friends with my wife, Jean. I think that's her name, Jean. Correct. It's hard when you have this on. Believe me, don't ever get one of these on. It hurts to talk. But during the next 10 years, we became friends, Linda, and we our kids are married. Unfortunately, some of our parents were all buried, and we went through good times and difficult times. And then came the summer of 1983, and me and Linda had the right idea. We're going to run for public office. Remember, Linda, 1983? I vaguely can remember it. But, Linda got elected in 1983. I got elected in 1983. And for the next 26 years, she served in the clerk's office. And I'll tell you, if you needed something out of the clerk's office, Linda would take care of you. Linda had a good staff in there of good people that whatever you needed, she would take care of you. Linda, and I'm going to miss you up here. When you leave, and if I'm fortunate to come back next week, I become the oldest one up here now, which is hard to believe. I came here as one of the youngest ones. But Linda, you're a credit to this town. And now I will read this resolution that we've all signed.
All right.
And the only thing I want to say is, when I get done and you begin to talk, speak into the microphone, Linda. I sat here for years, and we'd be talking, and she'd be over there waving. I remember that, so speak into the microphone, Linda. But it says that the city of Romulus, whereas Linda Chokes began her career in the city in June and the summer of 73, and as a office worker in the clerk's office, whereas Linda was sworn in as deputy clerk in April of 1978, and in 1983 she made a successful run for the position of city clerk. She was a dedicated, hardworking clerk, and her record speaks for herself. Linda was elected 9 times to the city of Romulus, and after serving as clerk for 26 years, she decided to run for a council seat, which she overwhelmingly voted in as the councilwoman pro tem, which reflected the voters' continued conference. Stayed a little light there. She was sworn in for a second term of city council, November of 2013, for a total of 8 years, while serving as pro tem. Linda has also served on a cemetery board and a trustee of the liaison for the city council. She's played a very integral part into the beautification of the cemetery in Romulus. Whereas it's resolved that the elected officials of the city of Romulus recognize that Linda, as an outstanding employee, city clerk, and councilwoman, it's resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to Linda, and of course it's signed by Mayor Burkhoff, Ellen Bragg, the clerk, Stacy Page, John Barden, Kathleen Abdul, Harry Kraut, Celeste Roscoe, Sylvia Mankowski, and myself, Bill Wadsworth.
Next, I want to call up Jan Lemon.
Good evening, council, mayor, clerk, audience. Linda, when we started our cemetery project, we wouldn't be nowhere if it wasn't for you. Your guidance, your knowledge, you're on your hands and knees, just like the rest of us. Tammy's here tonight, Sheldon's here tonight. We wish you the very best of everything. You're not done. You will be up there with us next spring. We can't do this without you. Your heart is in it just like the rest of us. We will always remember all your years in this city. Nobody will ever forget Linda Choate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now, Mr. Chairman, will recognize Ms. Choke to finish this council meeting tonight. Mr. Chairman, Linda Choke.
Thank you.
Is there any more new business?
Yes, Madam Chair, I have
Yes.
something I'd like to say.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
First, I would like to congratulate you on your retirement. And 8 years ago, when I said I wanted to run for clerk, I went and you and I had a conversation, and I really had no idea what I was getting myself into, and had big shoes to fill. And I just want to thank you for the years and that you served, and just thank you for just the advice and the really nice thing when someone would ask for something and we're like, oh my God, it happened when? In the early 80s and 70s, and we're trying to remember. We call Linda, do you remember when this happened? And her memory is just on point. But we appreciate you. You are truly going to be missed up here on the dais. And we have a little something for you that we would just like to show our appreciation to you.
Thank you.
This is from the clerk's office, and we want to say thank you. Thank you so much. We're not done. We have something really special for you tonight. Roger, hit it.
Hit it.
Oh,
Hi, Linda. Just want to say thank you for all the years of service you put in here at the city and on council, and mainly from me, all of the encouragement, the mentorship, and just always being there for the questions and answers, and just being there for me personally. Wish you all the best of luck, and we will miss you dearly, dearly, dearly. We ask you to always come back and see us, and I'm sure we'll see you around the city in many events.
Hey, Linda, it's Bill Wadsworth here, and it seems like it was just 1973, and I was a young deputy sheriff coming here to City Hall when I worked in the city, and you were a brand new clerk working in the clerk's office. And then in 1983, we both ran for public office. A lot of people said that we couldn't win, but we definitely showed them, Linda. For the next 34 years, we've been serving the city. I tell you, it's very sad for me that you're going to retire, but it's a decision that you made, and my wife Jean and I both wish you luck for the rest of your life. Good luck, Linda.
How you doing, Linda? I'm going to miss you when you leave council. I've known you a number of years, and we became friends. And I'm going to miss your stories when you were a clerk. How you used to talk about the council 30 years ago, and a couple people on the council, they love to argue and to keep you there for 4 or 5 hours before the meeting and during the meeting. And they took a break in the middle of the meeting, had pizza and everything like that. I'm going to miss you. Have a blessed day, Linda.
Hi, Linda. I just want to say thanks for your friendship and advice during my first term on City Council. I will not stay a stranger.
Hi, Linda. I am so pleased to have had the chance to work with you over the last 4 years. I have learned a great deal, and I'm wishing you the very best. So I'll say so long, and I'll see you soon.
Hello, Linda, how you doing? First of all, Linda, you're going to be very missed on City Council. It was a pleasure, Linda, working with you for these 4 years on council. You're the type of person, Linda, that makes everybody comfortable. And one thing I noticed about you, Linda, you always say, tell them to speak into the mic. I said, oh, okay, Linda. And everybody on council is going to miss you, Linda. You've been a very inspiration to the council. You've been an inspiration to the whole city of Romulus, and you will be missed. And enjoy your retirement and have a good time. And come back and visit us, Linda. We're always welcome. Thank you.
Linda Choate, congratulations on your retirement. You're going to be missed, and I just want to say that it's been a pleasure working with you through both terms, and thank you for all the tips. That's one thing I will remember. You were always so kind to give me little tips here and there. That was helpful to me, and I appreciate that. And I just want to say good luck on your retirement. Don't be a stranger, and you will greatly be missed. Take care, and we love you, Linda. Thanks.
Linda, we're going to miss you. Thank you very much for going back to the days when I first came on council and you were our city clerk. You reached out, you helped me through those days up until these last 4 years as being the mayor in the city of Romulus. I can't thank you enough for working with our team on city council and for putting a lot of thoughtful work into everything that you did. And honestly, Linda, I can't think of you without thanking you and Ken, because you were a great team. I know you lost Ken, but he'll forever be in my thoughts and our hearts, and we'll be missing you here on Monday nights. I hope you continue to stay active in our community because we love you and we appreciate you. But enjoy your time off. Thank you.
Memories light the corners of our minds, misty watercolored memories of the way it was. Things were so much different then.
No computers, just paper and pens.
And if you had a chance to do it all again, tell me, could ya?
Would ya?
Memories light the corners of our minds, misty watercolored memories of the way we were. Congratulations, Linda, on your retirement. I wish you all the best and thank you for all of your years of service. Now you'll be free every Monday night to watch Dancing with the Stars.
Da 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 da.
This is our time to exit. Da 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 da.
Thank you for everything, Linda.
Bye, Linda. See ya.
Oh my goodness. I'm overwhelmed. That was beautiful, though. I really appreciate it. And it has been a very long time. I remember the day I walked into this building for the first time. I was here for a meeting with some volunteers for muscular dystrophy. And a couple hours later, I walked out as a city employee. And I don't know what happened. It was like I was ambushed. All of a sudden, I'm just doing some volunteer work and enjoying my life. And 2 hours later, my life has changed forever. And I expect that after next week, it will change again. And I really appreciate all of the support from the community. It's the community that kept me going all of these years. Just the wonderful people, everybody we know, especially with election days, and the people are coming. Just the excitement. Starting weeks before the election, the excitement begins to build and build. And elections coming up, and it just builds like a crescendo. And election day, and it's always, I have loved every minute of it, every day and every minute. And it's just time for me to move on so the next person can come and sit in my chair. And I appreciate, as I said, the overwhelming support of the community, the support of my family, support of my husband. He always had my back. And I've just really been so lucky to have to work with and to have all the wonderful people, every one of the employees in this building that over the years, I've seen many people come and go. And it's like someone used to say in our office, well, I was here when you came and I'll be here when you leave. So that seems to be something that we would often say. But I am glad all of you are here when I leave. And one of the things we might say is don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Good night, everybody. That's it. So, we ready? We're moving on. We finished with the new business. And do we have any communications?
I do.
All right.
Just want to put it out there that Boy Scout Troop 872 has been putting out their can-do bags. If you haven't gotten a bag on your door for them to collect canned goods and dry food items, you can drop off your items to Wayne Langenus's house at 36825 Bivens by this Saturday. We'd like to have them all together. Or you can call 734-223-5807 and they'll come pick it up. And I also would like to say that every year the Boy Scouts, we collect boxes and boxes and boxes of non-perishable foods. And it all stays in the community. It all goes to Helping Hands. And so, you know, it's giving back to the community. It's not leaving Romulus. So anything you can donate is always appreciated, especially this time of year because the food pantry really gets low over there. So again, you can call 734-223-5807 and please donate whatever you can. Thanks.
Mrs. Jokes?
Yes,
If I could, since the meeting of two weeks ago, two of our residents have passed away, and I know that we sent resolutions to the funeral home, but I just want to say to Phil Rinke, rest in peace, and Madeline Ostrowski, rest in peace.
Mr. Joke?
Yes.
Yeah. If you're celebrating a birthday in November, happy birthday and many more.
Thank you. And is there any other communication? Close that out, and next is adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
Thank you. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
You support it. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski? Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
And John?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So the motion is carried and we stand adjourned. Oh my goodness.